claims management business in the insurance space. I always wanted to have something a little bit different. So from the very start, we wanted a workplace that was interesting and different. We wanted something that inspired creativity and productivity. We wanted our team to be engaged in the business, and we thought that artwork in the business could inspire that. 3 or 4 years after we started, we were developing and had the chance to explore ways of achieving that. And I met with Max Delaney, who's the then director of Gertrude Contemporary, to try and understand a way that we might be able to achieve the dynamic of an inspiring workplace, but also we wanted to engage our team with artists and an arts institution, so that it wasn't just a sponsorship that was good for a couple of people, but it was across the entire organisation, had some real lasting impact.
The relationship between Proclaim and Gertrude was especially rewarding, I think, for both partners. On the one hand, Gertrude, I think, provided a space for creativity, curiosity, and for social engagement for Proclaim staff and for events that were hosted at the gallery, as well as the opportunity to meet with artists and creative people. Equally, Proclaim's support of new innovative curatorial platforms for Gertrude has allowed us to develop a really important program which has now developed over more than a decade. And the partnership also extended beyond the gallery into the wider world, where we visited art studios, small artist-run galleries and museum exhibitions. So we developed a real rapport between staff of both institutions and as well between Proclaim colleagues and the wider art community.
Businesses, like the greatest artists, are constantly innovating and thinking through new ways and approaches to ideas in whatever situation they're facing. The extraordinary thing about the Proclaim and Gertrude Contemporary partnership is the way that it's a living collection of artworks that embody a space and time and place. The collection operates within the staff and within the situation of Proclaim as providing new ways into thinking creatively about the times that we occupy. Each year, Gertrude comes in and rehangs the collection. We bring artists to speak to the staff, to talk about ideas, to think through the space of creativity, business, collaboration and innovation. Over the past 10 years, the really remarkable thing about this partnership and the way that art operates in the workplace has been the accumulative relationships that have developed between the team at Proclaim and the generations of artists that have occupied the studios at Gertrude. We go off-site to visit spaces. The staff of Proclaim build relationships with institutions, museums, festivals, spaces outside of their usual context. And within the space of the office itself, we constantly think through different ways that the team here can engage with ideas of our times, to think through what they're doing within the space that they work in each day.
I think one of the things as an artist that can be a problem, experience can really thwart innovation. Because, and I had this in the studio this morning, I was looking at this painting that I'm having a fight with, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, I can just do this. It's something I've done for 20 years. That'll fix it. And I knew that that would make the painting work and everything would be right. But I'm very wary of doing that because it's an easy solution. It's a pre-established way of doing things. So I think that's one of the things I sort of find as I get older as an artist, I'm very wary of is that problem. So I try and keep myself as open as possible.
But what interests me now in the 21st century is the way in which post-Euclidean geometry is moving into a kind of chaos theory, if you like. Well, there's a change or a shift, flexibility, elasticity in things. So this is a simple cube that's turned into knots on itself, and it's done not through a rational, completely rational science. It has a structure, but then I just play with chance. I mean, if you take the corners of a cube, there are 8 of those, 4 at the top, 4 at the bottom, if you like. Take 8 dots, throw them into the air, they land onto a grid, connect the points, and then pull the points into space. So that's the way this was made. So it starts to knot itself.
So welcome. This exhibition is called Mixtape 1980s. It's got a subtitle called Appropriation, Subculture, Critical Style, and it's basically an exhibition which surveys art, but also fashion, music, popular culture of the 1980s. I've been at the NGV for the last only 7 months, and so this is my first assignment, and it's drawn from the collection. With just a few loans of ephemera such as records, magazines, books and films. This is the work of Tracy Moffat's, who's now become one of Australia's most well-regarded and recognised artists internationally. This is a very famous series of hers called Something More from 1989.
I really love the art of Proclaim and the interaction with the Gertrude Street Gallery artists. They often come into the office and discuss their works, and then when we're contemplating that work at a later point, you have more of an appreciation of the story behind it and their artistic processes, and I find that just gives you a sense of the artistic thoughts and motives behind it, and it can add to our daily lives working in the office. And it's a beautiful place to work because the art is laid out so nicely. It changes and it evolves as the business grows. So it's an interesting process to be part of all this art and workplace.
I spend a lot of time visiting client offices and service providers' offices, and every time I come back to this office I'm reminded, or reinforces to me, how lucky we are to work in a space like this and with all this amazing art around us. And this is one of my favourite pieces, mostly because it's artwork on a pool table felt, but also because it's done by a Kiwi with some great sporting motifs. And my other favourite thing to do in the office involving the art is to use these sculpture garden as an obstacle course, although I'm not sure it's approved of by management.
So we're talking about art in the workplace. When I was thinking about it, I was thinking about what I like about it and why it's important. For me, it's a bit like light. You need air, and aesthetically you need a place that's inspiring and a pleasure to be in. So I think while the specific pieces are fascinating and interesting, for me it is that I don't have to be conscious of it, that I am in it, amongst it, and that it is uplifting.
I woke up from a beautiful dream. I felt to myself, today is a day for a dreamy day. Double plate, parlor style. This is how we move. You know, if you remember this one, then sing along. Here you go. Dreamy days. Come walk me. You feel no way. There's gonna be fun in a surprise. Dreamy days. Come walk me. You feel no way. There's gonna be. I just still long foot bandito. I might take off the shoes, won't take off.